Oh, it's great to have him in. We got a lot of time with Rob Parker today. He's a professor, adjunct professor at USC, odd couple with Chris Broussard. Always enlightening, incredibly passionate. Rob Parker joining me via the Cowherd Global Satellite Network. We'll get into his fancy jacket story in a couple minutes. Okay, my takeaway on Dak. Listen, they put this thing on the table a year ago, $106 million guaranteed. I'd argue he made a mistake. He's not Mahomes. I mean, did Dak just make a big mistake here?
Here's my issue, Colin, and you know how hard it is to get a franchise quarterback in the NFL. Ask yourself, why weren't the Cowboys willing to give him just the 4 years, make the guy happy? If he's really that guy, why are you, everybody else, all the other quarterbacks who were drafted in his class, they all got paid. Carson Wentz took an ambulance to the contract signing, and he got the deal. I mean, let's just be honest. Why aren't they paying him? Colin, the longer you wait, the more it costs. Jerry Jones is trying to solidify his legacy. I know he's in the Hall of Fame, but you know he needs to win one more Super Bowl, right? Without the Jimmy Johnson, so that people could say, all right, Jerry did his thing. And now you're giving doubt to your franchise quarterback because you weren't willing to just give him the 4 years. It doesn't make sense if you're going to sign him next year. What is the holdup? It only costs you more. So I don't get the reasoning behind it. I think the Cowboys made a mistake. Now, it's one thing if you don't believe in him and you want to see more, Colin, that makes sense. But I don't understand. If you really believe he's your guy, you should have signed him.
Okay, so does this mean we have an impending divorce in a year?
It could happen. It just could happen, unless they decide to give him, what is that, $38 million the next year on a franchise tag, and then after that, or he could become a free agent, right? So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. I'm not that high on Dak, and I just wonder, when you look at his numbers, Colin, especially against the good teams, since his first year, his record against teams that are 500 or better is 6-17. And his touchdown to interception ratio is 25-25, nothing special. Last year against teams over 500, Dak was 1-6, 8 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, nothing special. And if you're trying to win a Super Bowl, those are the teams you got to beat in the playoffs and in the Super Bowl. So I just question whether or not, why weren't the Cowboys willing to bend to make your quarterback happy when they're giving money to everybody else?
Well, I think you answered your own question. I think I said this earlier. When Jerry Jones got in his private jet and they could not get a single touchdown drive against New England or Philadelphia last year, and they had much better offensive lines than both running back and wide receiver, and Jerry Jones got on that private jet flying from Boston to Texas and flying from Philadelphia to Texas. And I really believe, I could be crazy, that's the last games we saw Dak, and Jerry said, what more can I give him? We couldn't get a touchdown drive in either of those games. And maybe that's recency bias, but I think that's something, is it not? Decisions are made on private jets all the time, Rob.
No doubt. And you could imagine with the division on the line in Philadelphia, right? They would have won the division 3 out of 4 years.
Yep.
I mean, Carson Wentz was doing it with tape, glue, and ice cream sticks. I mean, and they won. I mean, think about the team that he was playing with. It was ridiculous. And all they had to do was win that game, Colin, and they would have had a chance. Remember, there were people who picked the Cowboys to go to the Super Bowl. Chris Broussard on the radio show picked the Cowboys to go to the Super Bowl. They didn't even make the playoffs.
Yeah. You know, there's been a lot of talk. You really made me think last week when you said Mahomes should have taken every penny. There's no guarantees on anything. The Chiefs may make a bunch of bad draft picks. There's a lot of talk now about Kansas City being a dynasty, and I kind of roll my eyes at it. I've said before, I think they're going to win one more, and I love Andy Reid, and I think Mahomes is great. What do you make of the Chiefs dynasty talk?
I think it's so premature and so ridiculous. I think we've seen in this league, Colin, in the last 20 years, I'll give you 3 teams and quarterbacks where people thought, of course, they're going to win multiple championships. Kurt Warner and the greatest show on turf with the St. Louis Rams.
Yep.
They only won one. Aaron Rodgers, right, when they won in 2010, they haven't been back. They've had a couple chances, but they haven't won or been back to the Super Bowl. And you could also take a look at Russell Wilson with that defense, the Legion of Boom. How many did they get? They only got one. And let's be fair. Even with the Tom Brady and all the Super Bowls they won, Tom Brady went 9 seasons without winning a Super Bowl. In between the 3 in the beginning of his career and the 3 at the end, there were 9 years where they didn't win the Super Bowl. So this whole notion that they won one and now the Kansas City Chiefs, which hadn't won in 50 years, is now going to rip off 3 or 4. I don't buy it. And let's talk about the competition level. Lamar Jackson, who, by the way, was the best quarterback in the NFL a year ago. Colin, for all that everybody talks about Mahomes, do you know he didn't lead the quarterback position in any major statistical category last year? Not in touchdowns. Touchdowns went from 50 to 26, and then people say, oh, he was hurt. You can't say that. You ready? He played 14 games, had 26 touchdowns. Drew Brees played 11 games and had 27. So you can't use that as an excuse. And go look at the numbers. You have Deshaun Watson. You have all these young guys. Then you have the veteran guys who are still, Colin, looking to add a championship or 2 on their way out. Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, Tom Brady down in Tampa. This is not a layup for people to jump on this bandwagon that they're going to now not lose again and they can't be beaten. I think is ridiculous.
By the way, Zeke's upset in Dallas. He's all over Twitter today. They were just ranking scouts, GMs did an anonymous poll to rank the best running backs. He finished 3rd. One scout said he's the 11th best running back in the NFL, Zeke of the Cowboys. What was your takeaway?
Yeah, I don't know about 10th or 11th. That seems kind of low. But I'll be honest, despite the numbers, and I saw what he put out on Twitter and talk about put respect to his name, he didn't, Colin, just from the eye test, he didn't seem like the same running back last year.
Yeah.
I don't remember him winning a game on his own or doing something where you say, man, look at the Cowboys. You know, they got a running back who can win even when the quarterback's not playing well. I just didn't see that. And I think we saw that earlier in his career. And I think it's an eye test, not just sometimes stats can be empty because it depends on when you get them. Yeah.
So we always ask you, America's most frugal sports writer, you pay for nothing except trips to the continent. You've gone to 6 out of the 6 continents you've been to?
No, all of them.
Okay.
All 7.
Okay. So this jacket, tell us the story about the jacket you're wearing because it is absolutely beautiful.
Thank you, Colin. This is one of my favorites. $38.95, $3,895 was the ticket. And I fell in love with it. I tried it on. I was like, it fits like a glove. It was marked down to $1,000. And then it was another 40% off. So I paid $599. I am thrilled. I love getting a deal, especially when it looks great on me. I mean, I'm thrilled with this jacket.
You look fantastic. He's got a podcast on the Herd Podcast Network, Rob Parker, plus the radio show, The Odd Couple, my friend. I love having you on. I always appreciate you stopping by, and thank you so much.
Always, Colin. Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
You bet. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.